Finally tonight, another word about PBS's Gwen Ifill, who passed away this week at the age of just 61. She was known for her tenacious reporting, great writing, infectious smile, and a wonderful sense of humor.
Live from our nation's capital, this is Washington Week with Gwen Ifill.
Good evening. So where to begin?
Well, she began in print, going from the Boston Herald to the Washington Post to the New York Times. Here she is telling her good friend and colleague Michelle Norris what it was like going from print to television.
But it was really hard making, and you know this, making the transition from print to television. You had to figure out how to write differently, you had to figure out how to present differently, and you had to settle on the right shade of lipstick, which was huge.
That was cute. Well, Callie, you actually knew her pretty well. I only knew her through PBS and the NewsHour. I appeared on her show a few times, and then we had a collaborative effort one year for an election. I can't remember which one it was, but you knew her quite well.
Yeah, it's very hard going to the memorial service this weekend and just can't really believe it still. I was privileged to know that she was ill and that it was quite serious. But, of course, all of us are just remembering how wonderful she was and how great it was. Michelle Norris is her very best friend, so it's really tough, and we're trying to be supportive of Michelle as well during this. But what a loss, and what a loss at this moment, I think is the best thing that I have to say. And she never took herself so seriously. She was very serious, but she was one of the funniest people on the planet. So it's more than a loss. It's a chasm, really, in journalism.
It's a tremendous loss. I remember reading her byline in the New York Times back in the 90s before she went into television. And although the NewsHour is not always my favorite newscast to watch, she would brighten it up in a way that you'd say, okay, I can watch this because Gwen is there. You know, during the election, I noticed that she wasn't there, and for some reason, it didn't really register as anything, gee, I hope it's not serious. I did not know she'd been sick, so I was just shocked when I heard she passed away.
You talk about her brightening up the NewsHour. I didn't know her at all. I never met her, but on TV, I thought of her as a presence that was sort of simultaneously warm and cool. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the net effect was reassurance. Confidence, sort of a placidity, in a good way. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Or I would also say she was really good at pushing back at authority figures in a way that was respectful but simultaneously aggressive. And that's something that many journalists don't know how to do.
It is a real shame that we're not going to see how she would have covered a Trump administration. It's certainly a course of events that would have it raised a lot of interesting questions. One thing that she said that I think is a particularly good guidance for covering the Trump administration is, I don't believe in objectivity, I believe in fairness. And I think that is a good watchword for how we move forward.
By the way, there's an hour special on tonight on Channel 44, our sister station to PBS, so tune into that.